Here we are, back for part 2, and we're going to have a bit of a race-by-race through Moonee Valley fairly quickly.
Bit of a snapshot review of I've got Vince Cardi's daily sectional stuff. So race 1 was won by Wanta Diva. Now, as I've said often, this is take away any personality classes or anything aside Mick. I've barred myself from listening or watching any racing media beforehand because I just don't want it to mess with my mind. Anyway, afterwards I saw scan the papers, and it was Darren, I think, from Australian Bloodstock, good man. But he said, we didn't have much of an opinion of her, but we were thinking of selling her. But here she is, she's won a city race, and we're at, as they should be. It was such a slow race. If they can sell it, if you've got any horses in this, just sell it quickly and say, look, we ran a placing at Moonee Valley. Nothing here, Potts, really.
Enough said. The only thing I want to say about this race is Mick's got tears in his eyes as we speak. He was on behave. It was the first leg of a very big 3-horse, all up with the other 2 being Ability and Whistle Baby,
yeah.
And it's cost Mick a small fortune. So, but the race itself is tragic. It's a very low grade 2-year-old race. There's been some very good recent 2-year-old races.
That is one of them.
And it's not one. There's been a handful of recent 2-year-old performances at provincial level that would have won this race.
Yes.
It's very strange that the trainers didn't.
All you have to do is win, Potts, isn't it, as a punter. So after a race, if people go, that was a good win, well, you need to find out if it was a good win. It was pretty slow. Race 2, Whistle Baby won this. Now, this is the prime example of what we were talking about earlier, Mick, in part 1.
Sorry about that.
Potts just very good here. That mid-race slowdown was death here because you had Majestic Lass, Valrouge going quickly. I say poor colloquially, but Grey Street was tracking right behind them. They all copped the big mid-race slowdown. So the wave runners were Whistle Baby and Tilapia. Neither ran a great time, but I reckon Tilapia's ready for a 1400 wet track because that's her go.
Yeah, she looked ready to do something on Saturday, and she did, but she's really a 1400 metre horse. So
and loves the wet.
Yeah.
So anything there? Anything else?
Whistle Baby ran up to her best, and she was too good.
That's it.
Full stop.
1200 her go.
Yeah. She sort of. She'd be all right at 1300. 1350. 1400's a problem for her.
Yeah, that's
right.
Ability, well, it's well named. It's always had some, but resumed gelded. It's put it all together, and it's got the what we like calling the picket fence, Vince and I. It's best 800, 600, 400, 200 of the day. Always a good sign.
Yeah,
strong.
Yep.
Very comprehensive winner, and obviously the track suited it. That swoop style.
Absolutely.
I think it could put 3 or 4 wins together.
Yeah,
preparation. I know the stable's always had a pretty strong opinion of it.
It runs past some pretty fast 1,000-metre horses there, like they'll nail to the fence. It's an impressive performance. This horse has always had ability. The gelding's the key. I'll keep backing this horse until it gets beat.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it'd attack the line.
Love to sit down up the straight,
everything.
The straight, getting into the pots and the irrigation lanes.
It's the sort of horse I've always wanted to get on board with and be able to trust it. And it's in its previous 15 runs, it's not been trustable. It's now, I would say now, it gave every indication on Saturday.
Well, I was just thinking, Mick, a few footballers you played with would have done better with gelding, wouldn't they, surely?
Yeah. Maybe 3 blokes down.
So conversely, we said no on paces, 1 for the day. Ben's nearly, but no 1. Core Beach, come back to Victoria, get a fence on day. Love to see the Caulfield, 1,000, 1,100, it'll be very hard to run now.
Well, can I say, when I first did this race, I had its second pick, and then I went out and walked the track and went back and marked it about 5th pick. That's the difference it makes.
Yeah.
To me, it was going to be, had everything against it, and its performance to finish in the money is outstanding, Core Beach.
Gravis was a good win, and this is, to me, sectional times 101 because it had been going from fast races, and then it got another fast race, but this time Bo Mertens just rode it for speed rather than position, and it went from being second line to being last, but it was still going quickly.
So what you're saying to the punters out there, it had the perfect platform to build on its previous performance, to spike in relation to the race on the weekend.
Yeah, we've been going very, very fast, haven't we, Potts, in fast races, and this time, even though, because they went so quick, if they next start go right last, because it came from last, it'll probably get beaten, because very rarely would, and coincidentally it's had 3 very fast races, which for 3-year-olds at this time of year, they're not very fast horses, but it's had them. If they ride for positioning next start, could probably get beaten, but if, what I've really noticed, I don't know about you, Potts, but studying the data, is that the great jockeys ride to the numbers, might be an early call, Dave Mertens, but oh, geez, a talented boy, and he's just working. He's just got that feel for the horses, isn't he?
I think it's a bit like any sportsman.
Yeah.
You've got to be a thinker.
Yeah.
He seems to me to be a thinker.
Yep.
He gets stimulated by race profile and he makes decisions in race on an assertive nature. He doesn't die wondering. In the next race, I reckon there's a great example of that.
Yeah.
The Mick Kent horse that he had to make a decision in that race to be assertive, not knowing that C. Williams was getting the perfect drag into the race at that time.
Yep.
But Coldstone was a perfect example. He got beat,
Yep.
but I prefer, from a punting perspective, to have a bet on a horse with a jockey like that rather than dying wondering.
Oh, 100%. Gravis, what do you make of that race, Pops?
Okay, so I think it's a really good case study for our punters that are out there looking to improve how they do the form. If you look into what happened at the race at Flemington, it had that horse extremely well prepared to peak at its next run. In the circumstances, I don't want this to sound like, because Jay Fry is, I think, is an excellent jockey, and he didn't do anything wrong at Flemington. He actually rode that horse beautifully to prepare it for this race.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then with Bo Mertens going on, it was, and Bo was able to ride this horse where he wanted to.
Yeah.
Okay, so he didn't have to be back last, but it just worked out that he rode the horse naturally.
Yes.
And that's where it naturally ended up in the race. And so there's just a lot of things that you can see in that Flemington race. So a lot of people gravitated towards the passage. Right? On that day, the way to maximise your finishing position at Flemington was to have cover and be exposed as late as possible. Now, the passage did have a checkered passage at Flemington. However, in the run-on, he still wasn't able to get past Gravis. Right now, Gravis had done a lot of work in that race and had been exposed to what was a bit of a wind tunnel at a key part of the race. So, I just think there's little things in that race, if you look at it and you think about how that horse prepared for the day, that Gravis really should have started favourite ahead of the passage.
And Mick, I was going to say one of the best jumps I've done in my learning, and that almost is 101 what Potts was saying there was early speed's underrated and closing speed's overrated.
Okay.
And so, the work home horse got backed by the market, but really Gravis had done the work that Potts had said. And the other thing in fairness, Blinker's first time, I think Jared Fry was looking for cover, but the horse took him there. Second time, Blinker's just relaxed a bit more, and obviously Bo did the rest. So, Mick, you said Coldstone, so they mowed it here. Fight On was the leader here, 14 lengths above benchmark to the 800. The first 800 of the race, it's the equivalent of 2,800, isn't it? That's half the race, yeah. So it's equivalent of 28. So they're going to get very tired, and they did. Magic Console is one of those ones, Pots, that I like, that sometimes the market tells you something when they're big odds, because it could have been 100 to 1.
Well, did I read somewhere on Monday someone had 5,000 at $21 fixed odds in the tab?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Some of the bets were put out there.
Wasn't it, Pots? It was 40s and the 20s?
Yeah, no, it's, which they often are from that stable. They've got a very good record when they come to town. Got a very good record everywhere. Juppies, good mate Whitey there.
That's it.
He was there strapping. Unfortunately,
Did Juppy tune in?
none of us got. Juppy didn't get any info, neither did we. But that horse was beaten 14 lengths and 22 lengths in its last two starts, so it was a bit hard to find. But the stable certainly expected it to improve,
and it did. Could be some flat runs out of it.
Any horses to follow out of that race?
Well, I'm a bit worried about it being flat runs, but I'll tell you one thing with Coldstone, it led at a absolute walk at Sandown, so quick back up, no problem. In fact, it was like a fast barrier trial for it, or even a moderate barrier trial. Off that run, it's now, to use the Potts platform, I reckon it's there, but probably would want 3 weeks ideally, because that was such a fast race, but now it's had that fast run, and we like him off fast races, don't we?
Well, for me, at that distance range, once you get past 1400s, where I sort of draw the lines, once we get to 1600 and above, if the 3-year-olds on the day have run, really the 3-year-olds have gone better. They've run almost the same time, and the last part of the race is better in the 3-year-old race, so that race is a bit of a no-no for me.
Yep.